Welcome back to Zalonka, and before we go visit Grandad to sleep, that sounds weird, I want to start fertilizing grass, and I was going to use a roller, but because I was wondering about getting a roller, but because we've had growth, that's probably a bad idea. So we want to pick up a fertilizer spreader and some fertilizer. There's now in the sales, so that means we probably need to borrow some cash. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, we're going to need to borrow some cash. That's fine. We haven't had to yet. So I'm going to drive to the store. Should engage forward gear. And we'll take a little bit of a loan out. We need to lease the combine. I'm going to do that in the morning to save us some leasing fees. And yeah, we'll get this field quickly fertilized, and then we're going to be into the second week of September and combining our 2 fields of sorghum. So we need a trailer as well. So I might buy the trailer while we're there. Let's cut down here. Is it going to be any quicker? I don't know. The store's just there. We might as well keep chatting while we're here. So this video will come out on release day. Yay! You can play FS25 too now, hopefully. Depending on the time that it releases wherever you are. I'm not sure about the whole time that it's coming out. I know Giants did release the time, but yeah. I think it varies depending on the version of the game that you've got, as in the platform that you're on and where you bought it from and that kind of thing. So hopefully you are playing FS25 now, maybe while you're listening to my dulcet tones, and you're enjoying it. It's, yeah, hopefully you're enjoying it. I think it's a good game. I have not been allowed to rate the game at this point. I possibly can't yet, so I'll say I'm enjoying playing FS25. Let's take out a little bit of, we need to go to the finances tab. Let's take out a little bit of a loan. We'll do 15 for now, because we'll borrow more in the morning. So 25 grand for the fertilizer spreader. We will buy that. Yes, please. I would say that maybe leasing it would be sensible, but I'm hoping we can pick up a bunch of contracts come having seeded things. So that's why I'm buying it. It's one of those things that probably you're going to get a fair bit of use out of. Now I should have paid attention to how much it holds. Still not used to the layout stuff in here. So 3,200 litres or 3,200 as real people would say. We really don't need much though, so I'm just going to buy a single bag of fert for now. Just want to fertilise the grass. Because we're too late for fertilising contracts, I think. Many harvesting contracts though. But I kind of like that route to get to the farm, so we're going to go back that way. That worked quite nicely. Could always bring the water trailer with me as well to refill our water tank, although it's probably still got plenty in it. Because I am filming this before release, so I'm going to just lease the cheapest combine we can get, probably come the morning. Giants will have released some mods and things, I expect. At least I'll be very surprised if they haven't. So there'll probably have been a cheaper combine available, but you know, it's not the end of the world. I'm hoping, as I said in the last video, that we will be able to grab a contract that we can maybe recover some of the leasing costs with. There we go. I'm learning my way to the farm slowly. I'm just going to test something rather than assuming. This field has no fertilizer on it. let's just do that. Let's go into the map. Turn off the weeds. No, we can't fertilize it. Okay. That kind of makes sense. So we'll just get our grass fertilized, which is fertilizing. We will fertilize the bales too, because yeah, I know. Realism is key, but sometimes so is an easy life. I just want to make sure we get, given this is quite a small patch of land, as much as we can off it. It doesn't need lime, I'm thinking. Why? Okay, it doesn't need ploughing. It's watered, I guess that's for the rice paddies. Anyway, that's that done. We'll do a little bit of a check on the animals. Again, I'm just going to drop this by the door because that shed's a bit of a mess. We don't mention the shed. Yeah, so that's still pretty full, but we'll just give the water a top up. Food-wise, they're absolutely fine. So I'll go sleep and I'll see you guys in the morning. I wasn't going to buy a trailer, and then I thought, actually, if we're going to do a contract, we will. I was thinking that because the two fields are next to the farm, we could just dump from the combine straight into the silo. But if we're going to do a contract, we will need a trailer. So let's first, I guess, see if we can grab, if we could get field 40 or 35 as a harvesting contract. That'd be pretty sweet. 35. That's going to pay 6 grand. We'll hold out, actually, but that's good to know. So, combine harvesters. Basically, this is the one I've got to lease, because anything else is going to be too expensive. Yes, lease. Header, yes. Lease, yes. I'm actually thinking that we should maybe lease a trailer as well instead of buying it, because we're not going to need it again for absolutely ages. So if I was to do that, I'm wondering about leasing this guy. Just to make life easy. What we're going to do is get the combine to the field. And yeah, we're not going to get a header trailer. I know. I'm an awful person. But all we have to do is cut across here. And we'll be good. So yeah, I'm going to get the combine over to the farm. I'm going to combine our two fields using the approach that I've just mentioned. And see how we're doing for time in the day. Because if we've run out of time, it's not worth us leasing a trailer to do a big contract with a combine that's not particularly huge. Is my thought. I would rather not take on the big contract and just progress time. Because one of the things that I don't want to do, which I've had a real problem with in the past, is get stuck in not progressing. I'd rather go into October. I haven't looked, but I'm hoping we will get one more growth state of grass. We can get some more hay bales. We can probably sell a bunch of the hay bales because we're not really getting through many of them. Bring a bit of cash in. progress that way. That's what I think is more sensible, rather than banking on trying to do loads of work. Yes, it's potentially a bit slower, but equally in the other months that we have ahead, there will be other contracts we can do. And there will be other crops available to harvest. I've missed the turning again, so it's a rental. It's fine. You're going to hear that an awful lot, I think. Sounds alright. It sounds alright. So let's unfold. Lower down. Says it? Yeah, I didn't think so. It said enable straw, but I didn't think that was going to be a thing. Enable steering assist. Yeah, please, just in case we need it. Let's be honest, we probably do. If you've seen my driving, having access to GPS is not a bad thing. Yeah. There's a question for you. This might polarize people. Has having GPS on everything destroying crop spoil the game? Should a combine like this have GPS? Should GPS be available on... Oh, we've got stuttery animals. Should GPS be available on everything? Discuss. Now, I'm one that will, with like guidance steering and things like that, and even with VCA in a save like this, I would pay to add the capability to an old vehicle. So with VCA on PC, if you're not familiar, you don't. It's a lot like this. You don't pay to add the capability, whereas with guidance steering, you do. It's an option on the vehicle. But on a save like this, where it's a lot of it is about, the financial challenge, I would charge myself to add it to the vehicle. So is it making the game easier having built-in GPS on everything? Does it take away the challenge? Do you need to be more disciplined with yourself? Should you be being more disciplined? Should I be being more disciplined with myself? Should I not be using GPS on a combine like this? It's taken an element of the... I'm actually thinking that, it's taken an element of the challenge away from the game. And it was not really a challenge, but do you know what I mean? It's not really a skill element, but to some extent that. Yeah, that's got me thinking, actually. That's got me thinking as to whether using GPS on every vehicle is the right thing to do. Now, because I've set it up to show GPS, it's going to show it all the time. Okay, what we could do. Now I've got that in my mind, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to do it manually. I'm actually a little bit curious as to how stable the vehicle is on, just driving. So let's actually drive the combine ourselves. But the next thing we're going to need to do is decide what we're going to plant. And I probably want to be planting something that is high profit, but cheap to harvest. So we're probably looking at something we can combine, because there isn't any, like maize would be an obvious option and silage it, but there aren't any cheap silaging options at the moment. So probably a grain. Now you're all probably sitting there saying plant soybeans, and that might be the obvious option. do a little bit of maths, maybe. I'm actually starting to put that spreadsheet together, but it's a bit complicated with the swathing and stuff. Particularly when you've not played the game enough to know how some of that stuff works. But yeah, I might do a bit of maths. Realistically, I don't actually know I think I've got the Mugdon stuff enabled. Certainly got it installed. Maybe I haven't. It would appear not. It would appear not. Maybe that's a cheap way to go. I don't know. It's way off yet. It's a way off yet. And by the time we get to harvest next time, there will be some mods. So, which will be a good thing. It will be a good thing. You know, I'm pretty certain we'll see another combine out of Giants. Hopefully a cheap one. Either, guess, I keep saying probably the New Holland, but maybe we'll see the Deutz-Fahr one from 22. I'd just like to see a cheap combine, to be honest. Yeah, combines are one of those things that typically I will lease, particularly at this point in the game, because you only need it for a very short amount of time. And it's not worth having 100 grand sat in a combine that you're going to use for an hour or two every game year. Unless you are, the counter to that is if you're a contracting beast and you can, you're going to put lots of hours in and recover that cost. But if you're playing in a similar style to the way that I play, it's not worth it. It's just another video that I need to revisit, leasing versus owning. That was a fun video to make, actually. It was a fun video to make. Oh, so many spreadsheets to redo. So many spreadsheets to redo. Honestly, I can't wait. So we need to go empty the combine. Let's do that. Yeah, we've got nearly 8,000 litres so far. So that's at 1,300 litres, 8. That's about 10 grand. So we're positive at least, which is good. This is our better field in terms of expected yield. But the other one's a bigger field, so who knows? Who knows? We will see. And then just thinking, what have we got in the silo? We've got, that's not our silo. Prices. We've got canola, which is December. I think sorghum was January, wasn't it? Yeah, so we're looking at needing a trader at the back end of the year. Again, maybe by then, mods will be out. Who knows? Maybe we can get a cheap modded trailer. Or we'll have picked one up in the sales. They are all options. Why am I didn't lower the header. That's not going to help my yield, is it? So you'll notice one of the mistakes that I often make is that I will hit B and then I will try and lower the header. Hitting B has already lowered the header. Done that so many times. Do that so many times. But we are looking like we should be able to get a contract in as well, which is nice. That would be good. Make a bit more cash. seeing as we're now starting to be in debt and don't have a lot of cash left. And we have 2 fields to replant. Into the second field. Now, a bit of me thinks that although boring, it might be sensible to plant them both with the same crop. And if I were to go for something like soybeans, we've got until next year to plant. I could go something. Maybe I should do rice just to see what it's like. And I know a bunch of people have, I think FSG did a stream on it on like day 1 or 2, and Argsy's doing an entire rice farm, but it might be interesting to do just to see what it's like. If I go into the store, long grain rice, so we combine it, we use a normal seeder, so yeah. That might not be a bad idea. It'll at least be interesting. And I mean, growing a different crop will be interesting. We'll hang on to our patch of grass as well. I would like eventually to get cows, but we need either a cheaper cowshed, modded cowshed to come out, or we need a lot more money. So I suspect the former will arrive before the latter, but we'll see. You never know. Maybe we'll hit a big payday. And seeing as I'm not following GPS, I can harvest the field the way that I like to harvest them. I could have done that anyway, but which is not to just go round and round in circles. So not the highest yielding crop in the world, but it does pay well. So again, we were looking at like £1,300 per, or euros per 1,000 litres. So yeah, we're looking at decent money off of this, which is good. Hopefully neither of these fields needs ploughing, although I quite enjoy ploughing. Yep, we're good for ploughing. We're good for lime, so we just need to get it seeded. Now we could cultivate and seed, or we could get a direct drill. Let's do one more parcel on the top here. Either works. I feel like with how long the stubble is, we should at the very least cultivate this, possibly mulch it. But the yield benefit from mulching, assuming it's the same as FS22. Slight interrupt there, and I have no idea what I was talking about, and kind of had to dash away from the game, so I messed around with the clock a bit to try and get us back to where we should be, roughly, but not entirely sure. Anyway, let's continue, and yeah, I think we're in a good position for getting a contract done this game day. It's only 10:46. I've got plenty of time left that I've set aside for making this video, so that's good because we can recover. Well, I'll have a look at what it's going to cost us to lease a trailer, actually. Because that might sort of sway me as to whether it's worth it or not. Because if it's going to cost us a bunch of money to lease a trailer, it might not be worth it. We might be better off hanging a fire. The alternative is we just lease the kit from the contract. Because that's only going to cost us $12.99. Whereas if we go into the store and go trailers, for a decent sized trailer to lease it is more than we have the money for. So yeah. And we'll get a bigger combine that way. We'll do that. And what we'll do is we'll do what we did last time in that case. And it's case, because it's a case combine as well. We'll return this combine. And maybe in that case we won't take on 35 and 41 because they aren't both. Oh, we're full. They aren't both there. I do like the fact the combine stops when it's full. I mean, you lost a little bit of crop. Yeah, so maybe we'll do that instead. So if I look through the contracts, there's one. So we could do 22 is all the way up there. 42 is parsnips and casa. They're going to be about for a while. So yeah, we'll do the contract on field 35 as well. That'll get us back the cost of leasing this combine, which will have made this cost neutral. Which is good. It's all about balancing the books. So actually, speaking of which, that is something that I said I would do when I started playing FS25. And I can probably go back and do that still. So, because we're only into the second month. Something I did in one of my series in FS22 was to run a spreadsheet looking at where I was spending money, where I was making money, and I did say I was going to do that for FS25, and I think I will try and do that because I'm curious. And so if I tidy up this bit, I think we can get away with the rest of it in a single pass. It's just occurred to me that I'd forgotten about that. Yep, we can get that in the... are we leaving stuff? We might be. Or we're leaving weeds. Yeah, if we check the finances tab... yeah, we've still got all the information, so I think we're good to do that. So I can hear some of you sighing from here. But some of you enjoy it, I enjoy it, so it'll just be at the end of the video, so you can always skip over it. It's fine. Let's just check that everything is registering as harvested. No. There's that little bit next to me. And that strip is actually not showing as harvested. So let's get the half a litre that it's probably going to add up to. Oh no, it's a few litres. And then we'll grab that other sorghum contract. Yes, contracts are going to be a regular part of this series until we've got a farm that can keep me busy. Now, you might be thinking you could probably spend your time better putting those bales away. Maybe, but we can do that when we haven't got work to do that can improve the financial situation. So, how much sorghum did we get? Should have done a thumbnail while I was doing that. No, yes, that one. 17, that's not bad actually. That's not bad. That's not quite so valuable as I thought, but still it's going to be about 17 grand. That's better than a kick in the butts. So, next question. Garage, vehicles, return, yes. Okay, return, yes. Okay. And then we are going to go into here and we are going to borrow items. No, that wasn't the contract that I wanted to take, was it? Yes, it was. We've scaled up a bit, which should make actually getting the contract done a bit quicker. Yes, I know. I don't have an aversion to header trailers. We just don't need them for getting off of the main road and avoiding the traffic. So I see no point in bothering to put the header on a trailer for that little bit of journey. It's just not worth it in my mind at all. No, I don't. Ignore the knocked out road sign, it's fine. Now for this one, we will set up GPS. I think 2 headlands seems better. Show lights on, okay. H, off we go. Cool. Yep, that's going to get us some cash back in, which is great. And then we will be looking into the future. I might have a play with some of these. They're cultivating deadwood was what I was looking at. 6 trees. If we had a flatbed trailer and a chainsaw, because you can sell the trees, can't you? So I would be tempted to do those once we can equip ourselves to do a bit of forestry work. Because that seems like easy money to me. It's hopefully those contracts will be available in the winter. They seem like good winter work to me. Anywho, I'm going to get this contract progressed and I'll see you all in a bit. Progressing well, and good news. Fertilizing and mowing contracts are still available. So I've grabbed the best of those just to jump in. The best that were available when I looked may have changed. There are no new mowing contracts, so that's good. There's a sowing contract appearing. So we have a fertilizing contract in field 33 next to us for just under 2.5 grand, and a nearly 3 grand mowing contract on field 92. So we have the kit for both of those, which is good. So we can use our own stuff, and I'm going to really intrigued to see what happens with a mowing contract where you don't then have to bale it. Some of you have probably seen that already, watching other creators. Some of you may have done that already, playing the game by now. And by the time I get around to doing it, some of you may have done that playing the game post-release. So, yeah, because we probably won't fit that in this video. I may do a Mr. CDP and do it between videos, but probably not, because I want to show you guys stuff as we do it. What I was actually looking through was the other contracts that were available, like this Deadwood guy. I'm still curious about those. There are a lot of contracts we can do. The wood transport one is interesting as well. So I'm going to keep messing around with contracts just to see what they're like. Particularly the ones that I haven't necessarily done. They might have been in as part of the forestry DLC in 22, but I really didn't embrace that because I was a little bit miffed by it. But anyway, 3 more runs to go. I am going to call it a day at the end of that because we're getting into the evening and I can already feel the light dipping a little bit in game. So far, haven't had to empty the trailer. Have had to empty the combine twice, but big old trailer, so that's pretty good. So we can just do the 1 run to deliver it. Any excess we get, we can add to the silo. So we should end up with a nice amount of sorghum. I'm actually curious whether, well, whether we can feed chickens sorghum. Whether it's worth feeding chickens sorghum is the next question. And therefore whether we could maybe get some chickens. I've not done anything looking at chicken profitability yet. Whether it would be better to sell the sorghum and buy chicken feed. Let's have a quick peek. Construction. Come on. You've stopped. Oh. Chickens. So it looks like we can feed them sorghum. If I go into here, no, into here. Yep, prices. Wheat. Yeah, so wheat's way cheaper. If we go into the store, big bags of wheat are way more. So potentially we could get some chickens, but we're broke. So realistically, we can't. So the theory's good, the reality not so much. Then maybe I should avoid that to avoid the stereotype of how you start on this, you know. Then we just sell the sorghum for cash. The other thing that's somewhat tempting, and I'm kind of half expecting the combine to have stopped again, it has not, is bees. Whether we put down some beehives to start making some honey. Just as a kind of passive income generator. Cheap. The other thing I've not looked at yet is income generators. I guess land factories, probably. Selling points, greenhouses, generators. So we're looking at maybe £0 to £900 a month. That needs looking at, I think. But some bees might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea. Right, so just in there. We'll go deliver this, which is to the same sell point yet again. They seem to have a hankering for some sorghum. Someone remember the number we end up with. Come on. Must be, there we go. So if we end up with about 3,000 litres again, we're sticking consistently with our 10%. You might hear my dog snoring again. He's really going for it this evening. He's really going for it. Come on, up there. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the layout of this map, considering it's a Giants map. Very nice. Very nice. I would almost forget that it's a Giants map I'm playing on. We're just going to send it across here. Yep. Full send. Keep the momentum going. And once we've got this sold, that'll be it for today. We've got a little bit of time left in the day, but we'll use that at the beginning of the next video. Yeah, let's see. I'll do a big-ish dump first, and then we'll switch to the grain door. And we're at about 5,000 litres-ish. About there. So, come on. Let me switch. So go left, grain door. There we go. Right. And done. So yeah, pretty much about the same again. Give or take us delivering a little bit. So that's added a couple of percent to our, well, more than that. I think we had 17,000 litres, so yeah, we've gone up to 20,000, so it's pretty good. Worth doing. And we just need to get this back in the silo without me crashing, although it's a rental, so it doesn't really matter too much. And we'll hang on to this until the price is good and rake in the cash. And so I am thinking that we go with the long grain rice because it's combinable, which means harvesting it will be tolerable price-wise. I'd love to do one of the other new crops, but we can't afford to harvest one of those at all. So we'll experience those through contracts. Which means we've got plenty of time to sort our fields out, pick stuff up on the cheap. So we'll keep plugging away with contracts. I suspect that possibly we'll get another cut of grass off of our field. I need to go get our tractor, but let's grab that. Very nice. Another 4 grand in the bank. Yeah, I suspect we'll get a cut off of that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, click the like button. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. And I will see you all next time.